How can I help you?
Oh, yes. Bringing back the book I borrowed. I wasn't sure if you wanted these.
Hey,
Oh,
that's a
thank you.
great idea. Return the book with some cookies. So let's try to make them. First, we're going to need some cold butter. It has to be cold, but not this cold. There! Now we can start to soften the butter. This can take quite some time, but keep going until the butter is all creamy like this. We're going to use powdered sugar to make these cookies. Once we have it, we're going to mix it with the butter. We can't forget to scrape sides to make sure everything gets mixed together. Once that's ready, we're going to add one egg. I prefer to crack the egg and also beat it in a different bowl because no one likes eggshell pieces in their cookies. And also because it makes it way easier to mix a little by little of the egg into the butter. Once we have our mixture ready, we have to divide it into different bowls. For that, I will use a scale to make extra sure that I have the same amount on each bowl. In one bowl, we're going to make the vanilla cookies and the other the chocolate cookies. We're going to start with the vanilla cookies, which only need flour and a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to only add 1 teaspoon of vanilla into the batter. I prefer adding the vanilla before I add the flour, and also I like sifting the flour to avoid having any flour chunks. After that, all we have to do is mix it all together. You know the cookie dough is ready and perfect when it doesn't fall apart but it isn't sticky. Now we can start with the chocolate cookie dough, but first we need to mix the cocoa powder with the flour. Once this is ready, we can mix it with the butter. And we do exactly the same we did with the vanilla cookies, sift it later, mix it all together. We need to get the same consistency as the one on the vanilla dough, but as you can see, it can be a little bit sticky with the chocolate dough. So all you need to do is add a little bit of flour and then just mix it. We can repeat this as many times as we need to till we have this beautiful cookie dough that has the same consistency as the vanilla one. Now that we have both of our doughs, we need to prep them to go to the fridge. For that, I will cover them in some plastic wrap to prevent them from drying out. As you can see here, I flattened it out just a little bit so it has a more rectangular shape, which will make it a lot easier for me to cut it later. We have to do the exact same thing for the chocolate dough, and once they are ready, they have to go to the fridge for at least 1 hour. While we wait, we can make the edible glue for our cookies. For that, we only need to mix 2 ingredients, a little bit of sugar and some water. First, I will use hot water so the sugar can melt and get mixed with the water without leaving any sugar residue. Once all the sugar has been incorporated, we have to lower the temperature. For that, we can use room temperature water. We need our edible glue to be at room temperature so we can use them on our cookies without melting them. Once an hour has passed, we can finally take our dough out of the fridge to start making the cookies. We're going to make 3 different kinds of cookies, which means we need to cut our dough in 3. After that, I'm going to separate each part and cover it with the plastic wrap that we have left. I will use the plastic wrap to make it way easier for me to roll out the dough and also give it the shape I need. As you can see here, my dough cracked a little bit, so all you need to do is with the plastic wrap, smooth it a little bit, and you can keep going. And if it cracks again, just press it with the plastic wrap and smooth out the edges or any part that you need so you can keep shaping the dough without any trouble. Here I will make the dough to have about the same thickness as my finger, but if you're more patient than me and want to make the cookies more perfect, you can always use a ruler and make the dough have about 1 centimeter of thickness. Then we have to repeat the same process for the chocolate dough. Again, if you want the cookies to look a lot more perfect, you can always use some rulers and not your finger like I'm doing here. For the checkerboard cookies and also the spiral ones, we need to make sure that both of the doughs have the same shape. So compare them and then fix them to make sure they fit together. Now we have to cover them again with a plastic wrap and take them to the fridge for at least 30 minutes. After that time has passed, they should look like this and they are absolutely perfect to start assembling our cookies. So I'm going to start with the checkerboard cookies. First, I'm going to cut each of them in half. Here I noticed that they were too thin, so I put each of the halves of the same color together and cut it in half again. Then we have to check that they are similar in shape so we can make the checkers board. Once it looks good enough, we have to paste them together using this little brush and our edible glue. We have to remember to take any excess off because we need just a tiny little bit to paste everything together. Once we assemble our checkers board, we have to smooth the sides so it has a rectangular shape. So here I will also use the plastic wrap to make it way easier to give it the square shape we want. When we press it and smooth it out, it looks beautiful with that checkers pattern. Now let's make the easiest one of them all. And that's because I'm just going to use a circular cutter to make the cookies. After taking the excess off, we are left with this beautiful circular cookie. All is left to do is to add 1 almond and cover it with plastic wrap. And we can finally start with the spiral cookies. As you can see here, I flatten the dough a little bit more to make the spiral a little bit thinner. So my dough here is half the thickness of my finger, but it's totally optional. Then you just have to glue both of them together and roll it. So now that our cookies are ready, they have to go to the fridge for another half an hour. While we wait, we can preheat the oven. I know, timing videos go so fast, so these ones are ready to be cut. Look at that, it looks so cute. So yes, I will use once again my finger as a guide to cut the cookies. You can left out the first one, I won't do it because I don't really mind, but look at the second one, it looks beautiful. For the spiral one, first I will roll it out a little bit to make it more round. Then cut it the exact same way I cut the checkerboard's cookies. And look at this, isn't it absolutely adorable? This thickness is about a centimeter and is perfect to my liking because the cookies turn out a little bit soft. But you can always play around with it and check if you like softer cookies and make them thicker, or if you like crispier cookies and make them thinner. Once you have all the cookies cut and ready, you have to put them on the oven at 350 Fahrenheit and let them cook for 10 to 50 minutes. You know they are ready when you can see that the bottom part of the sides is slightly brown, just like this. So we finally have these absolutely adorable and beautiful cookies inspired by Ranma that also taste absolutely amazing. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!